But we're going to start lying on our back because I want to try and bring your awareness into your pelvis. I remember the first time, or actually when I first started Pilates, I used to get so annoyed with teachers who constantly spoke about the pelvis because I was like, why should I care? Like, why should I care at all about my pelvis? Just, I want to work my core. But as a lot of you will know, our abdominal muscles attach on our pelvis. It's like a weird thing to think about, but the abs attach on the pelvis, mostly by the pubic bone. So, yeah, pelvic positioning and abdominal work will go hand in hand. So let's lie down. And of course, as always, if you want to record, please record. The sun's coming in a little bit, so just a few shards of light. I hope you don't mind coming into the room. So we're just lying down on our back. You're going to take both of your hands, the heels of your hands, and just put them onto your bony bits at the front of your hips. Some of you might remember the name of these bones. It's a bony landmark on your pelvis. The left and the right side, we have our ASIS, the bones sticking out at the front. Once you've got your hands on your pelvis, relax your elbows on the ground. You can let the neck relax as well. And we're going to come into our familiar movement, our pelvic tilts. You're going to take an inhale and arch into your lower back, and obviously you'll notice that the bony bits underneath your hands push forwards. They actually push forward. So take an inhale as you arch into your lower back, and then exhale, flatten your lower back into the ground or tuck, and notice that those bones draw back into the floor, almost as if they're trying to pull away from the heel of your hands. Keep going. I know you've done this movement a million times before. And usually we would do this movement to think about our lower back positioning. But this time, I want you to tune in more to the pelvis. As you move forwards and backwards with your breath, can you start to tune into little teeny tiny micro differences that you might feel from the left to the right side? Okay? Don't expect anything massive to jump out at you like, oh, my left side has got a hole in it and my right side is on fire. It's never going to shut, like the differences in our body are never going to be that obvious. Start to try and tune into the micro differences on left and right side. Okay, cool. So from here, we're going to turn it into a bridge, again, keeping the focus on our pelvis. I'd like you to actually try and keep your hands on your ASIS. So you're going to tuck, pick your pelvis up, come into a lazy bridge. For the first bridge, just feel free to move your feet, make it feel comfy. Keeping the fingers or the heels of the hands on your ASIS, take an inhale. And as you exhale, lower your spine down one vertebra at a time. Noticing the moment that the back of your bum touches down. Okay? Keep going nice and slow. Excuse me, frog in the throat today. So when you get to the top of your movement, you want your ASIS bones to be parallel, slowly lowering yourself down. Imagine like the moon landing, right? The moment your butt touches the earth, I want the left and the right sides of your butt to touch down at the same time. So the equal touch down of the back of your pelvis, where your bum is. So see if you can try and figure that out. Lowering down. When you feel your butt touch down, what do you feel? Do you feel the left side first, even if it's just the first touch, or the right side first? Can you get that a little bit more equal? Okay, spend the next few reps thinking about that. If you feel one side touch down a little bit sooner than the other, ask yourself this question. Am I hiking up that hip? So am I trying to hike up and like almost shorten one side of my body. Think about length through the sides of your body. Am I hiking one hip up? Okay, last little cue for you. Sorry again. Last little cue for you to get that equal touchdown is relax your butt just before you actually put it on the mat. So don't clench your booty all the way to the bottom. Unclench, relax your butt, try not to hip hike, and you might find, I can get my pelvis down pretty equally. Go for 2 more like that. So relax your bum just before touchdown, and try and avoid hiking one hip up. Last time. Good job. Really, really nice. Okay, take a moment. Find your neutral spine. So maybe just do a little arch and a tuck, arch and a tuck. Find your neutral. Put your hands again onto the bones at the front here, onto your ASIS. Make sure you're not hiking a hip up, okay? And let's take one leg into tabletop, other leg into tabletop, and just pause. All right. Now, the point of this is not muscular burn. The point of this is pelvic stability, your ASIS remaining super glued equally to the ground, or at least underneath your hands. Slowly let your left leg float out to the left hand side. Pause with your leg there out to the left. Look at your right knee. Has your right knee moved out to the right? If so, can you get your right knee directly on top of your right hip? Is your right butt cheek as planted into the floor as your left butt cheek? The answer for me is hell no. So I need to really root down into my right pelvic half, push my right butt cheek into the floor. That's going to give me a little bit of right oblique, and then bring my left leg back to center. Okay? Then right leg out to the right hand side. Pause. Equalize the weight in your pelvis. Push that left hip back into the floor, left knee directly above left hip. Draw your navel in and up, and then bring the leg back to center. Guys, let's keep on going here with this. So open out to the side, left to the left. Notice your ASIS. Has that left one sunk down in relation to the right? If your answer is yes, push your right hip into the floor and then bring it back up. Right to the right. Open. Pause. Equalize the pelvis. Bring it back. Now try and keep that pelvis equal throughout the movement. So don't let the hips roll to one side. And close. 3. Good. 2. Nice. And last time. Well done. And then just take your feet to the ground and let your knees slowly windscreen wipe from side to side. Noticing that as you windscreen wipe, obviously you're allowing that massive shift from one butt cheek to the other. Okay, really well done. Feet to the ground again, parallel hip width distance. You can place your hands back onto your ASIS, and then let's come back up into our bridge. So I'm going to tuck, pick my pelvis up, come up into my bridge. Once I'm at the top of my bridge, I'm going to relax my ribs down. Nice. And then see if I can get my tail, my lower back to lengthen even more. So if my tailbone was a laser, that laser light would be shooting between my knees. Okay, so see if you can really lengthen that tailbone. Imagine it, that laser light going between the knees. Then, keeping the hands on the ASIS should be equal. See if you can lift the heel of your left foot off of the ground. Okay, then lower the left heel down. Lift the right heel up. Lower the right heel down. As you do this, what are we thinking about? ASIS equality. Okay, this is the democracy of the ASIS. If this is feeling really chilled, then see if you can take it up. It's quite a big change, quite a big adjustment. So you lift the heel, then you lift the whole foot. Use your arms or your elbows on the ground to help you. Lower your foot down, bring it back, trying to keep those ASIS at equal height. Okay. In terms of breathing, just try not to hold your breath. And a little tip is that before you lift the foot, lift the corresponding ASIS slightly up into your hand. So the reason I say that is because if I lift my foot off of the ground, my natural tendency is to let that same side hip drop. Okay? So preempt it. Lift up the hip or lift the ASIS, lift the foot. Then take it down. Lift the ASIS half a centimeter, lift the foot, take it down. Go for 4 more if you can. 3, 2, and last time. Awesome, guys. Slowly take it down. Great job. Cool. Getting your tailbone down. We're going to take it into a little bit of core work, but still focusing on pelvic stability. So I'm going to keep my hands on my ASIS. I'm going to find my neutral spine, and then I'm going to take my left leg up to the sky with the toes pointed. Cool. Now, ASIS stays stable. I'm going to lower my left leg down, slowly drawing a line down the wall in front of me. The moment I take my leg out to the left, I'm going to avoid that pelvic tilt. Left leg moves out to the left, so I'm going to draw a semicircle, bring it up, and then draw down the wall again. Okay, let's go for about 8. I want you to move slower than you might instinctively want to go. Because when that leg goes out to the left, notice how your right butt cheek wants to lift off the ground. Notice how that right knee might want to move out to the right hand side. 4 to go. Root that right butt cheek down. Root that right pelvic half down. 2. Last time. Nice, and then pop that left foot on the ground. Let's go straight to the right side. I'm going to just move myself, otherwise I'm going to hit the wall. So, right leg up, ASIS equal here, and then slowly lower down. The tricky bit is when the leg moves out to the side. That's when we lose it. Okay, so that's when you need to be extra pedantic. Good, 6 to go. And 5. And 4. Keep the tension out of the neck if you can. Take that to your core. We want abs to work here. 2. And last time. Nice, and then pop it down. Great job. Okay, so far we've really been trying to prevent this like side to side, left to right rolling of the pelvis as we move. Next, we're going to come into simpler stuff, preventing arching and tucking into the lower back, so keeping the pelvis neutral in forwards and backwards movements. So let's come into our neutral in our lower back. One leg into tabletop, other leg into tabletop. Let's start simple. So Keeping your neutral, start your little single leg swaps. So I'm going to tap my left foot to the ground and bring it up. And then I'm going to tap my right foot to the ground and bring it up. So of course, I'm trying to prevent my pelvis from tipping forward as my leg goes forward, because that would be too easy. Okay, see if you can really think about drawing your tummy in towards your spine as the foot goes down, but I'm not imprinting. Nice. 5 more. Last 4. 3, 2, and final one. Hug those knees in towards your body. Take a wee moment. Okay, and then before we come up into standing and kind of change it up a bit, ideally neutral in the lower back, but if that feels too much, you can imprint. I'm going to just pop my hands alongside me and then straighten my legs to the sky. A bend in the knees is fine, okay? If you want to put your hands on your ASIS, that's cool, but just find your neutral, okay? Reach out through those toes, and then let's slowly lower the left leg down. Again, keeping my pelvis from tipping forward, and then left leg's going to come up. Right leg slowly down, keeping lower back from moving, keeping the pelvis super steady. Nice. 8. If you think my counting's bad, usually, when I get really focused on like pelvic positioning, you'll be here forever. I'll start from 8 again, probably in about 8 reps time. I'm joking. Okay, we've got 4 more. And 3. Last 2. And 1. Nice. Feet to the ground. Okay, before we stand, one last little bridge challenge. So we did the marches. Now I'm going to take you up into a bridge. We're going to take one leg and we're going to lower and lift that leg 8 times. So as soon as the leg goes down and up, that downward momentum of my leg is going to pull my pelvis off to the side each time. And I need to prevent that shift from happening. So we're back to preventing left and right pelvic rotation. Okay? All right. So let's come up into our bridge position. Lengthen into the tail. So get your tuck. Belly draws in, ribs draw down. Use your hands on the ground to help you. And then let's take our left leg into tabletop. Reach the toes up to the sky, so straighten out the leg, and flex the foot, so reach the heel to the sky. Okay, now left hip is going to want to dip. So think about pulling your left hip up towards the ceiling. Reach it up, reach it up. Keep that left hip at a constant height, but send the heel down. Almost think as the heel goes down, my hip is lifting up, and then lift. Take it down and up. Go for 6 more. Down and up. You're sending a fishing line out into the deep ocean. So it's not a drop down, it's a reach forward. 3, 2, 1. Nice. Left foot down. Try and stay lifted. If you need a break in between, you take it. Stay lifted. Before you take that right foot off the ground, maybe lift the right ASIS towards the sky, and then bring the right foot off of the floor into tabletop, straighten out the right leg, flex through the foot, send out that fishing line into the ocean, and then lift. Keeping the ASIS at constant height. 6, and up. 5, and up. Pull the belly in, 4, and up. So try and keep a sense of length in the lower back. 3, 2. Last time. Fold that right foot down. Lower your butte. Really well done. Hug the knees to the chest. Let's roll up into seated. Now just stay in the seat. I'm going to just turn to face you. Stay in your seat. Lengthen up through the crown of your head. And then let's just fold over our thighs. Like a tiny gentle glute stretch. All right, walk yourself up. Let's just switch the way the legs are crossed. You know, and even if it's a very loose crossing, that's okay. Lengthen up and fold. Nice. Come up. Now, I think all of you have done this with me before, but just in case if anyone watches it later, I want to show you a position that I'm going to try and get you into in a flow that's coming up. All right, it's called cow face. It's a deep, deep, deep glute stretch. So I'm going to take, let's say for instance, my left knee. I'm going to lean onto my right butt cheek, take my left knee, and try and cross it over my right. So end up in this weird position. I think the knees are supposed to look like, you know, like the mouth of a cow. Like, anyway, so this position here, a lot of the time when you try it initially, the top knee is like up there. That's okay. That's where I started. Also, if you don't find that your bum gets to the ground equally, you could just breathe through it and wait until that happens eventually, or you could just lie on your back and take a figure 4 stretch. Anyway, let's hold here for another moment. Lengthen up through the crown of your head. And just try and breathe. Nice. Okay, so we're going to take our hands back behind us. Maybe without using your hands, you can actively switch the legs. A little bit of mobility there. So switching which leg is on top. And I don't know about you, but one side is like, hello, and the other side is like, very, very chilled. Just take a few more breaths here. Feel free to move around in this position. So what I mean by that is, you know, right now my body is just saying, hey, what if you rotate to the left? All right, cool. So take your hands back behind you. Good. Come into a normal little seat. We're ready to stand up. Okay, I'm going to turn myself that way. Come onto my knees. And then let's just meet in standing. So however you get up is fine. Cool. This is where things are going to get a little bit more yogic. Okay, so we're going to take our feet into a parallel hip width distance stance. I'm going to soft bend into my knees. And I'm going to turn my palms forward, lengthen into my tailbone. I want to think about squeezing my inner thighs towards one another here. So even though my feet don't move, I want to imagine gathering up my mat, gathering my feet towards one another until my inner thighs switch on, keeping the length through the tail. We've done so much pelvic stability work already. I want you to really try and feel equality through the left and the right sides of not only your bum, but also through the legs and through the feet. This is called mountain pose. So keep what you've created in the lower body, but see if you can reach the arms up towards the sky. Inhale. Good. And then on our exhale, we're going to sit into a squat with the arms reaching alongside our ears. Coming down into this is chair pose. I'm going to lengthen into my lower back and draw my navel in and up. And then I'm going to fold over my thighs. Nice. Take your hands to your shins and use that to push your spine nice and long and straight into this halfway lift. Lengthen into the lower back, draw your tummy in, and then fold over your thighs again. Put your hands onto the ground, shoulder width distance, as if your hands would be in a plank, because we are actually going to step one foot back and then the other foot back into a plank position. Nice. Hold here for a beat. Lengthen through the tail. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower both knees to the ground. They touch at the same time. Good. Untuck your toes. Okay, now take a look at this. It's a bit strange. You might have done it with me before. I'm going to come into like quite an arched position into my lower back, bringing my chin and my chest to the ground. My shoulder blades squeeze together towards my spine. Then I'm going to push the floor away into a cat stretch. Good. Once you've found your cat stretch, I'm going to lower myself to my tummy, starting with my pubic bone, my belly button, my rib cage, my chest, and then my chin. Nice. Bring your forehead to the ground and just equalize your hips into the ground in front of you. So if you feel like you could get more exposure of your pelvis into the floor, then do so. You might need to kick one foot back, kick the other foot back until you feel your ASIS kind of press into the floor. Press your pubic bone into the ground now. So you've got ASIS on left and right, and pubic bone pressing down into the ground. Keep your thighs parallel. Bring your right heel towards your right glute. Reach your right hand back and grab a hold of your foot if you can. You can always take your left hand underneath your forehead. What I notice here sometimes is when people grab that right foot, we tend to want to hike up the right hip. So I want you to think about lengthening the right side of your body. Pull your right hip away from your right shoulder or your right armpit. Okay? Hiking hip, I mean, you'd want to imagine you were kind of carrying a baby on one side of your body. You hike up the hip to put the like to kind of rest your baby on it, right? Unhike your hip if you're doing that. Slowly release the right foot, and then let's switcheroo. So just left heel towards left glute, press the pubic bone into the ground, reach back, grab the foot. Nice. Unhike the hip. So we do it subconsciously, but try and think about length into the sides of your body. Press your pubic bone into the floor. Nice elongated breath. Good. Slowly release the foot. Place the hands underneath your shoulders. We're going to come back onto our knees. Tuck through the tail. Roll your shoulder blades back and down. Press yourself back up onto your knees and then up and back into downward facing dog. So coming up and back. 5 breaths here as we slowly pedal out through the heels, listening to our tendons. Pedaling out for 3, 2, and 1. Nice. Keep your left foot on the ground. Reach the right leg up towards the sky. Okay, now remember we spoke so much about pelvic equality. In this moment, I can guarantee most of us, our right hip is hiked up, or at least our right hip is elevated in relation to the left. Can you square your ASIS with the long edges of your mat? Yeah? Good. From here, right leg is going to pulse up 10 times. Keep your ASIS square with the long edges of your mat. Go for 8, 7, 6, 5, hello glute max, 4, lift your belly away from the floor, 3, 2, 1, look at the space between your hands and step that right foot through. Lower your back knee down and get comfy in your quad stretch. Breathe. Slide your heart up your front thigh. Nice. Okay, so from here, I'm just going to angle myself a little bit so you can see better what I'm doing. I'm going to take my right foot, the front foot, and I'm going to move it out to the right just a little bit. You know, you can move it as much as you like for it to feel nice for you, a nice deep stretch. So we move the right foot further away. I'm going to take my right hand onto my right thigh, and I'm going to use that to bring my chest into a rotation. Breathe here. My right chest, just my chest, into a rotation to the right. Now, some of you have done this weird transition with me before. It takes a lot of pushing strength in my left shoulder, as well as a little bit of kind of hope and faith in my left leg. I'm going to tuck the toes of my left foot under and lift my left knee up. That's the first thing I'm going to do. I need to pull my right foot back a little bit. So I'm going to take a little step back with my right foot. Okay, I don't know if you saw that. So I was there. I'm going to take a step back with my right foot. Then I'm going to pivot. So I'm going to turn onto the knife edge, that pinky toe edge of my right foot. And as I do that, my front foot turns out to about 45 degrees. Okay, so you might feel quite a deep stretch over the outer thigh of the top leg. Maybe you can slowly control it with your shoulder blade, slowly lower that left hip down to the ground, and then you might feel a myriad of things. Okay? Push the pinky toe edge of that long foot, that extended leg, through the floor. Left leg through the floor. Push your shoulder blade or squeeze that left shoulder blade down. What I kind of want you to feel is a stretch over that left side lower back. If you don't get that, you need to push the pinky toe edge of the left leg through the floor even more. So I'm trying to push that left leg through the floor. Okay, now slowly start to pivot onto both butt cheeks. Take your right hand back behind you, roll onto both butt cheeks, and you should be somewhere like this. Right? I rolled off my mat a little bit. Okay, so that right leg hooked over the left. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, fold over your thighs, reaching towards left leg. Nice. Lengthen up to the crown. Take your hands back behind you. See if you can bend into your left knee and come into cow face, that weird double or knee stacking position that we were in a little bit earlier. Lengthen up to the crown. Now, check back behind you that there's nothing that's going to kill you if you had to roll onto your back. Okay? And then see if you can keep your cow face. Roll, so I'm rolling off my sit bones onto my lower back. Let's see if I can grab a hold of my feet and hold myself in a supine cow face. Okay, squeeze your inner thighs towards each other. One more breath here. Okay, now you're going to put your left foot onto the ground and hook your right knee over that hook your right ankle over your left knee. So left foot on the ground, right ankle hooks over left knee. And then come into your figure 4. So hug your left thigh in and just take a good old figure 4. If you wanted to grab a hold at the front of the knee, that's also grand. Try and get a nice deep inhale, elongated exhale here, and relax your jaw. Okay, beautiful. Now, from here, straighten your left leg up towards the sky. Reach your arms up towards the sky. Inhale. And as you exhale, we're going to pulse our torso up towards our legs 10 times. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower the legs, roll up into a seat. Now we're going to come back out the way we came, okay? It's going to take a little bit of momentum, but first we come onto our left-hand side. So I'm going to take my left hand behind my butt. I'm going to pivot into that weird position again, okay, where I was pushing my pinky toe into the ground. Now, we're going to lift our butt up. Perhaps you can bring that right foot forward again, so where we began. So I'm going to pick my right foot up, a little bit of momentum and a pivot to get into that lunge position, and then I lower my back knee down. Nice. Hopefully that all made sense. Take your hands to the floor. Both hands frame your front foot. I'm going to lift my back knee up one more time. Slide my right leg back into a plank position and hold. Nice. Okay. Lower both knees to the ground at the same time. So let them touch perfectly same time. Knees, then I'm going to get my chest and then my chin to the floor. So that little arched lower back position. Bam. Push yourself up into a cat stretch. Big push. Lower yourself down, pubic bone, belly, chest, pulling yourself forward through the heels of the hands and down. Nice. ASIS, equally into the ground, pubic bone into the floor. Bend your right knee, reach your right hand back, grab the foot if you can. Maybe you can grab the left foot as well. If your pubic bone is no longer in touch with the floor, can you try and get it back to the floor again? Just squeeze your bum, push your pubic bone down into the earth. Draw your navel in and up. Nice. If you feel like you could add to this, push or kick your feet into your hands. As you kick your feet into your hands, you'll find that your head will pull away from the ground, chest will pull away from the ground, and you can maybe use your back muscles as well to lift yourself up into a tiny little bit of thoracic extension. Hold here. 5, 4, 3, open up the chest. 2, 1, slowly lower. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders. Tuck your toes under. Push yourself up onto your knees and then into downward facing dog. 5 breaths here as you pedal out through your feet. Regulating your breathing. Two and 1. Nice. Okay. So remember, we're going to keep our ASIS square with the long edges of our mat. I'm going to take my left leg, reach it up towards the sky. Okay. Usually as we do that, that left hip's going to rise higher than the right. So really work to square your hips with your mat. Left leg pulses up 10 times. And 10. 9. 8. Keep pushing through the heels of the hands. 7. 6. 5. 4. 3. 2. 1. Take a look between your hands. Softly bend into that right knee. Take a big step forward with the left foot and then lower the back knee down. Well done. Take a moment. Slide your heart up your front thigh. And just breathe. Okay, so we're coming into, I think it's called the lizard lunge actually, where you take the left leg further out to the left, and that gives you a little bit more space to get your pelvis down. Then you want to try and get the right hand down, palm flat, with the fingertips turned to about 2 o'clock, so external rotation in your shoulder. Use your left hand on your left thigh to gently rotate through your torso. And breathe. All right, so you're probably going to be facing away from me, I guess, but we're coming into that pivot moment. So I'm going to tuck the toes of my back foot under if they were untucked. Okay, lift your back knee up. Now take a generous step back with the left foot, so you're reducing your stance width. Pivot onto the pinky toe edge of your right leg, and as you do that, let the left foot lift up. So you're letting everything move with the pivot. Now slowly navigate your right butt cheek to the floor. If you need to move the left foot back more, then do, until you get down into this weird shape. Take a few seconds, adjust through the right shoulder if you need to. Push the floor down through the right hand and the right shoulder. Draw the right shoulder blade down. Push the pinky toe edge of that right foot through the mat. So that's really what's going to get you that right side lower back stretch. I say lower back, it's more side body. Okay, pivoting all the way onto your butt now. So allow your left hand to reach back behind you and just adjust yourself so that you're completely on your bum. Okay, now it's left leg that's on top of the right. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Take a moment. Good. Slowly bring yourself up. Cow face. So you're just going to lean back, bend your right knee as well until you kind of get both of those legs stacked. In your cow face, breathe. But you can play around with pelvic positioning here as well. So you could come into like a little gentle arch and tuck if the tissue is elastic enough to allow that to happen. That might not be the case. You might just feel like, oh, can't differentiate here. Okay, you could also maybe fold forward over the thighs. That can be quite deep, stretch-wise. Okay, so this is where we come up and just look back behind you. Please make sure that there's nothing that's going to, kill you as you roll back. So I'm going to grab a hold of the outside of my shins and I'm going to slowly roll onto my back, holding onto the outsides of my ankles or shins to your reclined cow face. See if you can, as you lie here, see if you can indeed figure out which foot corresponds to which side. It sounds like a weird thing to say, but if you're holding on to your right foot, which one is it? Or rather, should I say, which hand is holding on to which foot? Okay, slowly take your right foot to the floor. Left ankle is hooked over right knee here. Nice. Grab a hold of the back of that right thigh. Go into your little figure four. You can always take your hands to the front of that right knee if you need it, if you prefer that. Great job. Okay, cool. So we're going to slowly straighten the right leg to the sky. Hands reach up towards the sky. 10 pulses with the torso towards the legs. Let's go up. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stay lifted if you can. Roll it up. Great job. We're coming back out the way we came, okay? So I'm going to take my right hand kind of behind my butt. Give yourself room so that you can come up into this little weird side plank thing. So I'm on the knife edge, that pinky toe edge of my right foot. Maybe you can lift your left foot up. Think about where your left foot, you're going to almost place it parallel to your right hand. Pivot. Take that step if you can. I hope that went well. Good. You could even keep that back knee lifted, plant your left hand down, and then just step it back into your plank position. Okay? Nice. Hold your plank. Just getting myself back onto my mat. Hold your plank. Nice. Lower the knees simultaneously to the ground. Untuck the toes. Knees, chest, chin. Little arch into the lower back. Push the floor away. Round into your spine, into your cat. And then slowly lower yourself down. Pubic bone, navel, chest, head. Pulling yourself forward through the heels of your hands. Nice. Pubic bone into the ground. Belly button lifts away from the floor. Try and feel out your pelvic alignment. Is one hip hiking up? Feel that. Try and equalize. Then bring your heels towards your bum. Grab a hold of the corresponding foot, the corresponding hand. Either you stay here and make sure that you're focusing on pubic bone to the floor. Then, if you want to take it that step further, kick your feet into the hands. You're going to feel your quads engage. Quads are trying to engage. You kick your feet into your hands, lift your chest up, squeeze into your back muscles, upper back and mid back, not so much lower back, okay? Lower back is trying to stay long as you press your pubic bone into the floor. Squeeze your shoulder blades towards your spine, so towards each other and down. Hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Slowly lower. Release your feet, hands underneath the shoulders. Press yourself up and back into downward facing dog. Five breaths to pedal out through the heels. Last 2 breaths. Okay, beautiful. From here, bring the feet to stillness. Reach your right leg up towards the sky. Step your right foot forward between your 2 hands. Don't put the back knee down this time. All right, so we're in this weird position with right foot forward, left foot back. I want to see, or I'm going to ask you if you can try and straighten out your front leg. Okay? Mine goes pretty straight because I'm quite flexible in my hamstrings, but I don't care actually how straight your leg goes. I just want you to feel a stretch at the back here. Okay? If this is really hard for you to get your hands to the ground, then you can come up and rest your hand like on your upper thigh and then play around with the straightening of the leg. But I want you to try and get that stretch at the back of the right leg. Hold and breathe. Good. Now bend into your front knee. We're going to come up into a lunge. So push your front foot through the floor. Try and come up into your standing. Nice. Lengthen into your tail. Try not to hike the right hip up, even though the right foot is forward. Lengthen through the right side body. Okay, so don't let that, you're not hiking, you're not holding your baby on your right hip. Lengthen, tuck. Think about left hip back, left hip forward, sorry, right hip back. So encourage that left hip forward, right hip back. Reach your arms up. Left arm is going to stay up. I'm going to see if I can take my right hand back and grab a hold of something on the back of my left leg. So I'm cross-referencing right hand to left hamstring. Hold and breathe. 5, 4, keep the length in the lower back. 3, 2, 1. Take both hands out in front of you. Nice. From here, I want to try and open up to my left hand side. So you might end up turning your back away from me, but I'm going to pivot on my feet until I face the left. Both of my feet are pointing forwards. And take a nice big inhale, reach my arms up, and then slowly fold forward, trying to get fingertips to the floor, relaxing my brain down. Ideally, we're rooting down through the pinky toe edges of our feet. Beautiful. Okay, walk your hands towards your right foot. Turn your right foot to point to the top of your mat. Pivot on your back foot, so everything's going to point towards the top of the mat. And then slide your right foot back into your downward facing dog. Okay, we're just going to repeat that on the other side. Pedal out through the heels for 5 breaths. As you do your pedals, watch your feet. Try and get the pinky toe to stay in touch with the ground. Okay, it's going to be left leg up. Try and keep the ASIS square with the long edges of your mat. And then step that left foot through. Nice. Ideally, we've got our fingertips on the ground, or, something touching the floor. And then see if you can slowly start to straighten out that front leg. Pull your lower belly in and up away from the front thigh. Now, instead of thinking about your front foot going that way, I want you to think about your front foot pushing down into your mat and squeegeeing backwards towards your right big toe. So almost thinking about pulling the earth towards you. Good. Try and just think about that back foot. If you're doing anything weird into the ankle, think about that ankle and that foot being really square as well, pointing forwards. Then bend into your front knee. We're coming up into our standing lunge. Reach the arms up. Okay, cool. So same thing here. I just want to watch that I'm not like hiking my left hip up. So I want to draw my left hip down. So lengthen into the side of my body. Then tuck. Then think left hip back slightly, right hip forward. Okay. Hope that made sense. Arms are going to reach up. This time right arm stays up. Left arm reaches back towards my right thigh. Keep the length in the lower back here. If I check in with my back foot right now, my back ankle is doing something very weird. Try and get the weight into the big toe, or a little bit more into the big toe if you feel like you've lost it like me. Okay, now it's going to be easier because you're going to pivot to the right. Let's take the arms forwards, and then I'm going to pivot everything to the right. I'm definitely going to hit my head on the wall, so everything's pointing that way. And then I'm just going to fold forward. Nice. Walk both hands towards your left foot. pivot till everything faces to the top of your mat again. So we pivot to the left. Nice. Okay. Last little plank transition here, okay? So I'm going to slide my left foot back, coming into plank. Lower both knees to the ground. They touch simultaneously. Untuck the toes. It's knees, chest, chin, that arched lower back position. Come down. And then push the floor away, round into the spine. Slowly lower yourself down. Pubic bone, belly button, chest. Think about pulling yourself forward. Roll your shoulder blades back and down. Press your pubic bone into the floor. Bend into both knees. Reach back for the feet. And then if you're going for that little lift, then kick your feet into your hands. Squeeze your bum. Pubic bone is pushing into the floor. Lower back stays really long. Shoulder blades squeeze together and down. Holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly release. Hands underneath the shoulders. Bring yourself up and back. Downward facing dog. 5 petals or 6 petals, 5 breaths. Beautiful. Slowly walk your feet towards your hands. Ending in a forward fold with deeply bent knees, feet parallel, hip width distance. Take a few breaths here. Equalizing your weight in your feet. Thinking about equality through the pelvis. Are you hip hiking? Inhale at the bottom. Let's exhale, push through the floor, draw the navel in and up. Slowly rise into standing. Inhale, reach the arms up. Interlace the thumbs, reach to the sky. Keeping the tailbone long, pull your rib cage off of your pelvis as you reach up. Inhale. And as you exhale, let the arms fall. And that is you 100% done. So guys, I hope you enjoyed that.